Hello and welcome to BC's Sports Historian channel, where we like to talk about the coulda, woulda, and shoulda's of the sports world. And also guys that actually did have a very good career, but just kind of quietly retired or contract didn't get renewed, or just guys that just kind of vanished and you kind of wonder what happened to them. Now, we are mainly going to focus on former football and baseball players, but we will also talk about former basketball players from time to time as well. If there is any particular athlete that we do not cover on this channel that you would like to know about, feel free to name that athlete in the comment section below. Today, we are going to get into former Nebraska Cornhuskers quarterback Eric Crouch. Now, Eric Crouch, for me, I remember him very, very well. I did not particularly care for him too much, but nothing on a personal level. Just it was more the Nebraska Cornhuskers team. They ran an archaic wing T offense that I just absolutely hated. I'm even to this day, I'm still a fan of the spread offense, run and gun. The greatest show on turf type offenses. And I always thought Nebraska's wing T offense was very primitive, and therefore Eric Crouch just kind of didn't was not a particular uh, favorite of mine, but I must say he was a fantastic athlete and he was very, very good in his own right, and he has a bunch of records to show for it. So, without further ado, we'll get into it here. Mr. Crouch was born on November 16th, 1978 in Omaha, Nebraska. He attended Millard North High School in Omaha, where as a senior, he ran for 1,277 yards and 15 touchdowns, also passing for 543 yards and 5 more touchdowns. He was named the Gatorade High School Player of the Year in the state of Nebraska, and he finished his high school career with 5,134 yards of total offense. So not a bad high school career there for Mr. Crouch. He was forced to redshirt his freshman year at Nebraska during the 1997 season due to an ankle injury. And that season, coincidentally enough, the Nebraska Cornhuskers were named the co-national champions of that season. And then Crouch took over the starting job the following season after quarterback Bobby Newcomb was sidelined with a knee injury. He filled in, and against UAB, Crouch rushed for 2 touchdowns and completed 11 of 17 passes in his first start. However, Crouch didn't keep the starting quarterback role for very long. He made another start before being replaced by a now healthy Bobby Newcomb. And then Newcomb started the next 5 games before he was replaced due to an injury by the third string quarterback, Monte Cristo. And yes, folks, that is his name, Monte Cristo. Not making that up. And Cristo started the next game. Then he was replaced by Eric Crouch in the middle of the second quarter. So hopefully that wasn't too hard to follow there, but there's a little bit of a quarterback carousel going on there. But from this point on, Crouch remained the starter for the rest of the season, where they ended the season with a 23-30 loss in the Holiday Bowl. The next fall, Newcomb was named the starter, but Crouch got a lot of playing time in the first 2 games. He must have looked really, really good, played very well, because by the third game, he replaced Newcomb as the starting quarterback, and Nebraska moved Newcomb to the wingback position. From here, Crouch never lost the starting role again. He led the Cornhuskers to a win against Texas in the Big 12 championship, and the team finished with a 12-1 record that year, with a huge win against the Tennessee Volunteers, and ended up ranked number 30 in the nation that year. Now, the junior year of Mr. Eric Crouch, he led the Cornhuskers to a 10-2 season, only losing to University of Oklahoma and Kansas State University. Now, we're going to get into the 2001 season, which is Mr. Crouch's breakout season. And this is the season where he racked up a ton of awards. In the 2001 season, Eric Crouch broke a school or NCAA record almost weekly. In the first game of the season, he surpassed former Nebraska quarterback Tommy Frazier as the all-time total offense leader. He also became the Big 12 all-time career rushing quarterback in a game against Rice. In the following game against Iowa State, he broke the record for career touchdowns by a quarterback. So, Eric Crouch is gaining a lot of steam here midway through his senior year. He became only the fourth player in Division I history to pass and rush for 3,000 yards in a career. In a crushing 62-36 loss to Colorado, Crouch set the school record for offensive yards in a game with 360. Crouch still won the Heisman that year despite the loss to Colorado, beating out the likes of Rex Grossman and Ken Dorsey in the closest Heisman ballot since 1985. Grossman and Dorsey, those are a couple names that we might also get into on this channel. In total, Eric Crouch won the Heisman, the Walter Camp Award, the Davy Bryan Award, and the Big 12 Player of the Year Award. His college career ended with a loss in the national championship to the Miami Hurricanes, 37-14, leaving Crouch with a 35-7 overall record as a starting quarterback. So, even ending with a loss to Miami, I believe that Miami team was loaded that year. So, nothing to scoff at there. As you heard, all of the awards listed there by Mr. Crouch. Moving on to his professional career, Crouch was initially drafted by the St. Louis Rams in the 3rd round. The Rams wanted him to play wide receiver, but he still wanted to play quarterback. In fact, most teams thought that he was too short to play the quarterback position, but most teams also loved his athleticism. Crouch suffered a knee injury in practice and did not travel with the team to its first game against Denver. Crouch ended up actually retiring on September 11, 2002, and was later waived by the Rams on April 18, 2003. Crouch was then claimed off waivers by the Green Bay Packers on April 23, 2003 as a kick returner and quarterback. He then retired again on July 21, 2003. In March of 2004, he was reactivated by the Packers to try out as a free safety. Crouch was then released again on June 2, 2004. Crouch was then signed by the Kansas City Chiefs in January of 2005 and was allocated to the Hamburg Sea Devils of NFL Europe. He played in 8 games, starting 7 as a free safety, during the 2005 NFL Europe season, recording 25 tackles and 2 pass breakups. He was then released by the Chiefs on June 7, 2005. Eric Crouch finally got another opportunity to play quarterback for the Toronto Argonauts in the Canadian Football League in 2006. He initially was a 4th-string quarterback but got his chance to debut against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He entered the game in the second half and sealed the win for the team with a 94-yard pass. Overall, he finished the 2006 season going 6 of 13 passing for 127 yards and 1 interception. In 2007, he was expected to battle for the quarterback job of the Toronto Argonauts, but suffered an injury. He was eventually released on September 6, 2007. On September 25th, 2007, Crouch signed with the All-American Football League. He was drafted 3rd overall by Team Texas. However, he was released of his contract after the league canceled its debut season. Oh, another bummer there for Mr. Crouch. But on April 9th, 2011, Crouch attended a public workout for the United Football League's Omaha Nighthawks. He accepted an invitation to attend their minicamp and was eventually added to their roster. He started one game for the Omaha Nighthawks, completing 9 of 24 passing for 124 yards and 1 interception. He was placed on injured reserve on September 21st, 2011, and became a free agent after the season. So that pretty much wraps up Eric Crouch's collegiate and professional football career. Post-football career, Crouch became the special teams coordinator and running backs coach at Midland University from 2018 to 2021. After football, Eric Crouch was a sales territory manager for a major medical device manufacturer in the U.S. He is also a vendor of playground and recreation equipment at Crouch Recreation in Omaha, Nebraska. He also has been a TV studio analyst for KETV Channel 7 in Omaha and a studio analyst on Versus. Crouch joined Fox College Football as an in-game analyst for the FX channel in 2013. So as you can see, his post-football career has been pretty good. Most guys have a hard time transitioning after their careers, but glad to see that Mr. Crouch is doing very well there. And he definitely has a lot of wealth of knowledge and experience to offer any TV network in regards to football. So happy for him on that. Like I said, he was a tremendous athlete. Wasn't a big fan of his as a quarterback, but the man ran a 4.47 at the NFL Combine, and that is nothing to scoff at. Okay. You got your freaks of the world like Tyreek Hill and Bo Jackson back in the day in prime time, but I believe all those guys are like 4.28 and 4.3 and stuff like that. But 4.47 is still moving, guys. Okay, that's plenty enough speed to play wide receiver, running back, defensive back, a lot of the skill positions. So the man was definitely a great athlete. That offense that Nebraska used to run back in the day, the wing T, my high school team used to run that back when your boy here was playing for the shout out to the Wesley Chapel Wildcats. And we would crush a lot of the teams in our division here locally the same way Nebraska would do in the Big 12. But then when they would run up against the really elite teams, especially the more modernized teams with the spread offensive, the more pro style, or like the greater show on turf offense with Kurt Warner, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, and Marshall Faulk back in the day, they just couldn't keep up in scoring with those teams. And just like us at Wesley Chapel, when you would be so one-dimensional offensively, it's pretty easy for teams to stack the box against you and stop the run. And even though Eric was a tremendous athlete, um, I believe that might have hampered his development, at least as a passer, at the next level. So, um, and if you look at his numbers, passing wise, his completion percentage, always flirted somewhere around 50%, not very good, maybe 55. And his number of touchdowns always seemed to match his number of interceptions. So not a very good touchdown to interception ratio, not a very good completion percentage. But who knows? Maybe if he would have played in a more pro style or pass happy offense, maybe he could have developed into a better quarterback. And also the injury bug hit him pretty hard too. So I must say I do feel for the guy on that. But his career is still nothing to scoff at. He's got a ton of awards to show for it. Former Heisman Trophy winner. So shout out to Eric Crouch, and glad he seems to be doing very well in life after football. Now, like I said, if there are any athletes that you would like me to discuss on this channel, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Please like and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next video. Thank you.